Our three big fundamental challenges are as follows. Number one, and it's basic security awareness and training. I think we're all aware that 90% or whatever the stat is, I think it's 95% of hacks are as a result of some sort of human error. So I think my number one challenge is just getting our people smarter. Challenge number two, so we have all the security tooling, we've got CrowdStrike, and we've got all kinds of tools that produce so much data because the attack space is so big, and all that data has to be logged and analyzed, both of which you have to do before you can even start to play with AI. So I'm collecting literally a terabyte of data every day from all the firewalls and all of the tooling that we have. So there's just a challenge of what to do, just how to handle it, and before you even get to the sexy part of analyzing it. And then our third challenge, identity and access management. So you can have all the technology protections in the world if you don't have authentication and particularly authorization that's figured out. You know, and somebody raised the example, how do we know, you know, user Joe Smith is actually Joe Smith, and why is he trying to download the payroll master file from Russia at 2 o'clock in the morning? And he usually doesn't do that sort of thing, right? So we call it identity access management, and in a decentralized company where IT is, you know, number 15 on everybody's priority list, that's the big problem for us.
So one of the things that we're doing is we're thinking about how we actively practice security event management as part of our crisis management response team. So in that response team, we bring together a group of cross-functional leaders and some planned scenarios and pre-scripted scenarios that we've incorporated in a playbook. So it's not just about the event detection. Those come to us from many different ways and through in many different types of scenarios. Once we've detected them, we practice our ability to respond quickly and in a variety of different scenarios that we've incorporated into a playbook that we routinely practice in tabletop exercises. So that's given us a medium there where we can think about the cross-functional impacts of our cyber events and the leaders that we need to have around the table when we're making decisions. And it has also given us the opportunity then to refine those scenarios as the threat landscape changes and we get different examples of what other companies have been dealing with.
One of the things I wanted to highlight was, I guess, the increased, importance of the vendor landscape. Monique has kind of referred to kind of the internal, the tabletop exercises, the internal. I'm kind of thinking about what we've had to leverage is our external relationships and get into their strategies as they, we've had some occurrences of our third-party vendors reporting vulnerabilities and definitely had to incorporate fire drills around how to manage those events on the third-party vendor side. With some very key applications on both the real estate and mortgages side. So it's getting a little bit deeper into the respective security strategies of our key vendors. I would say that we've added rigor to the process. So now it is a monthly discussion that requires a format that we've agreed to with 3 of our key vendors. And that is growing. So we've decided that it is actually successful enough internally to respond to our own internal risk management teams that we have to extend it to all of our key vendors.
I think Maria and Monique hit on 2 really critical points. You just talk about Splunk ourselves. We went from 30 offices to just over 6,000 offices overnight. And we were lucky. We're mostly knowledge workers, a laptop and a mobile phone, and we can work. And we also had made the pivot about 2 years ago to almost exclusively put business services on SaaS providers. And too often when we teach our teams about what does cloud first mean, they go, right, AWS, Google, and they forget that it's all your SaaS providers, IaaS providers, PaaS providers, private clouds, all of the different vendors together create this amazing possibility, but a lot of, let's say, unique challenges. And so Maria, I think that's amazing what kind of you're going to in understanding what risk looks like. And data risk and getting that. So you get an idea of what's really happening. And I think, Monique, when we look at kind of data analytics, the really powerful part is the possibility to automate things. And the word I wrote down, 2 words, was cross-functional. And writing a playbook, I think too often people say we're going to automate it, we're going to bring in security, orchestration, automation, and response, and it's going to be this magic bullet. And you ask, well, how do you respond to X? And they say, well, Dave does it this way, Jill does it this way, Bob does it this way. You say, well, maybe here's a problem here. And I think the tricky bit is too often people try and do everything in one go, rather than try, it's like buzzword bingo, but micro playbooks. How can we take one thing and automate that one thing and build confidence and momentum so we can understand the process to go through? And then for me, where the data analytics comes in, is unfortunately your IT teams are there to create amazing things and frustrate you at the same time, because they're going to bring in new processes, new ways of working, and new data. So we're really big proponents on when you automate something, understand what those inputs that are going into it, and starting to look at, do you get any drift in the way data's going into that piece of automation? Because that automation may no longer be valid. So it's giving you an opportunity to go and reassess that. And that allows you to kind of chunk it up and move forwards. I would love to say there's a magic bullet where I can do a Windows next install. But it is a iterative process that unfortunately none of us will ever finish.
For us, data is especially critical because we're in the healthcare sector, and therefore it's the most private data that you have. We've really worked really hard in the last little while to improve our maturity from a security perspective. However, I would say that the COVID situation made it even more complex. And now we're in the process of ensuring that everybody is safe, as everybody has to work from home. Not everybody had a device, so we had to deploy the proper MDM technology so people could use their own device. Some of the things we had to do also is we had to really restrict what people could do. And thank God for the Office 365 tool set. We were able to even prevent people from cut and pasting something from their team environment, which is their clinical environment for us, into their own private environment. So the level of control that these new cloud tool provides you to be able to secure your environment is uncanny.